Welcome. The purpose of this video is to show you how to add and edit tax codes and then how to delete a tax code. I'm going to start by going into my General Files menu selection, T as in Tom, and then I'm going to go into number 1, Accounting Information, and finally letter B as in Bravo, Tax Table. So I'm going to start by going in and adding a tax code. Now when I'm talking about a tax code, I'm referring to a single character, letter, or number that represents your tax code. This could be T for taxable, E for exempt. If you have a number of counties or a number of parishes that have different tax rates, you can give all of them different tax codes if you'd like. As I said, this is a single character identifier, and you put this on the account record or the ship to record, and then the tax value is applied appropriately to that account. So this doesn't represent the amount of dollars or the percentage that's being taxed on your tickets. This is the code that represents that amount. So I'm going to go into number 1, add tax codes. If you have a multi-store scenario, it's going to ask you which store you want to add this for. If I'm adding a code like T that just represents my tax, there's no reason for you not to do this to all of your stores at the same time, because you're then going to go in and determine what that tax rate is per store. So it's not going to hurt you to do all this at the same time. I'm going to do that by clicking on this All Stores button, and I'm going to add a tax code here. So I'm going to add a tax code P as in Paul. I hit my P, the screen flashes for a second, and then tax code is added into the system. It's just that easy. I'm going to add a 2. I just hit the 2 key, flashes for a second, and that was all I needed to do. So it's very easy to come in and add these tax codes. I'm going to hit my escape key, and before I go and edit the one, I'm going to delete a tax code. So I had entered a number 2. I'm going to do this for my all stores. So I come in, I click on the 2. Do I want to delete the record? Yes. Record is gone. So it's just as easy as that. Now you don't want to delete tax records if you have dollars on them that haven't been printed out and you haven't turned them into your accountant yet. So you want to make sure that you don't come in here and accidentally delete your tax rates. But to do so is extremely easy when you need to. I'm going to press my escape key, and I'm going to go into number 3, display alter tax table. I'm going to press my enter key for the appropriate location, and I'm going to press my enter key one more time at code. So you'll notice that this is my asterisk code. Now the asterisk code always has to stay, because if you forget to assign an account to a tax code, all of their dollars will go into this default tax code until you have the opportunity to go and assign them appropriately. Or if for some reason you add a tax code into an account, you go and delete it, and then for some reason it wasn't caught, and so you're trying to apply tax for a non-existent tax code. That information will go here as well. We do have some customers who set up the asterisk tax code, the generic tax code, as their regular tax, so they don't have to create any more. In that case, they just, in the rate area, type in what the rate is for that particular tax code, and then they don't have to do anything to the accounts. So that's an option too if most of your customers are taxed. I'm going to use the buttons at the bottom, 1 and 2, F1 and F2, to scroll through to my next records. So I hit the F2 key. Now I've set up an example of a New Orleans tax. New Orleans has parishes. So in the case that you were going to set up a tax rate that you wanted to break up, you could put the description, and that's the generic description of that tax rate up at the top in description. The rate is the total rate if you combine all of the information in the detailed breakdown. The sales are the sales dollars for this particular amount, and then the tax collected is just that, the tax collected for that $29.19. In this second area, in the detailed breakdown, I can break it down in any way that I want to, and then this does the math for me. So my state tax is 5%, my county tax is 2%, my parish tax just for this example, is 3.5. And you'll notice that the sales dollars on the right and the tax collected reflect that breakdown. When I hit the F2 button one more time, I have exempt. Now, exempt, there obviously is no tax collected, so there's no breakdown. So my dollars are being collected over here on the right under the sales, and this is what my report is going to show me. Exempt sales of $11,000, tax collected is 0. When I hit my F2 key, here's my P. This is my brand new code. So I'm going to create a code. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say that this is my county tax. I'm going to press my enter key. Now this is the sales that reflect this code here. I have no sales yet, so I'm going to press my enter key, and I'm going to press my enter key through the tax collected, and then I'm going to enter my information into this breakdown here, which is going to build to determine what my rate is. Like the one that I showed you for New Orleans, you could break this down into multiple pieces, or you can simply leave it as one. In the description, you can add information there if you'd like. You do not have to. This is completely up to you. So I'm going to leave that blank, and I'm going to say that my county tax is 4.5%. I'm going to save this by clicking on the update button at the bottom of the screen, and notice that my 4.5 then jumps up to my total rate. As I mentioned, if you had put multiple rates here, I'm going to put a 2.5 here and click on my update. It's going to do the math for me in the rate area. I'm going to press the F2 key and notice that my last one is my taxable code. I've put the description as my state tax and then my rate over here on the right, and it's collecting all of the information appropriately for me. There's another video in this collection that will show you how to print this information for your end of month. That's typically when we have it print. But just real quickly through the screen, F9 allows you to alter the rate information. F10 allows you to turn on a tab if you wanted to. F1 and F2 scroll back and forward. Scan, F3 and F4 allow you to look for a specific criteria and scan through those. F5 will simply start me over in my code. F6 allows me to set a scan, which is basically a search. If I wanted to say that I want to look for anywhere where the description is state, I would set that in my F6 search screen, and then I would use my F3 and F4 keys. And those keys are going to scan to the only records that have the description here of state. That's what that's used for. The Update Plus is basically an update button, and then it takes me to the very next record. It's just an easier way instead of you saving it and then hitting your F2 key. Control P or print will just print this screen. Control W updates and saves any changes that I make. Escape kicks me out. And then my help screens over here on the right will assist me if I need assistance in any of these screens. I'm going to press the escape key, and that's going to kick me back out to my main menu. If you have any questions about how this works, please call SBC 800-829-4722 or send us an email at sbctraining@autolog.com. Thank you so much.